Hello and welcome to Outlook from the BBC World Service. I'm Matthew Bannister. First, between 1987 and 2006, 25,000 children were abducted in northern Uganda by the Lord's Resistance Army, a brutal guerrilla insurgency led by Joseph Kony. Creeping into villages at night, Kony and his men captured large groups of children and made them commit horrific atrocities, often forcing them to murder their own parents. Half of these children were girls who, despite their young age, were made to marry rebel leaders. They were raped, tortured, and often mutilated. Many became pregnant. Since peace has been established, only half of these children have returned home. Often mentally and physically scarred, they've faced enormous challenges reintegrating back into their communities. Girls have found it even harder than boys. Many of their parents feel ashamed of what's happened to them and have been unwilling to accept them back. Some girls have been completely rejected by their families and communities. Well, our reporter Candida Beveridge has been to meet some of the girls and those who are trying to help them.
Pasca was 12 years old when she was captured by the Lord's Resistance Army. She was taken from her school in Kitgum in northern Uganda to Sudan, where she was given to a rebel commander who ordered her to be his 12th wife. When she refused, he raped her at gunpoint.
At midnight, that's when he came with a pistol. Then he started asking where I am. I was scared. He came, he stood with his pistol and told me, either you go inside or I shoot you here. You choose between the two. If you want to stay alive, you go inside. If you want to die, you sleep here. I had to go. I went in his hut and slept there.
In the morning, she was beaten.
I had to lie down. They brought 4 boys, and the commander was stepping on my head. And the other 4 boys, they started beating me. They call it brigade fire. If the commander has said fire, that's when they'll start beating you until he said stop.
Pasca had to work in the fields all day without food or water. Often she was made to steal food from local villagers. Then one day she was forced to kill a friend who had tried to escape.
They told us to kill that girl. So all of us, we did it. And we left the girl when she was dead.
How did that feel for you to do that?
It was really so painful, something that you have never done and you have never seen. But you have to do it for the sake of your life. If you don't do it, you'll also be killed.
At 16, Pasca's life changed when she gave birth to a boy. Despite being the son of a man who raped her, she's devoted to him.
I love him because I have really suffered with him. We had to go through a lot of difficulties, and really, even if we are being shot by this helicopter gunship, the child is on your back, and really you have to run with him.
It was with her son strapped to her back that Pasca finally made her own harrowing escape. Creeping through the bush, she crawled into a village where at first the locals threatened to kill her. When she collapsed, they took her to a local NGO who traced her family. With the help of her parents, she went back to school and completed her education. This year she was meant to take up a place at Uganda's top university, but she can't afford the fees. Despite this setback, she remains positive.
After going through a lot of problems and hardship, you really know how this world is, and it helps you to cope up with life.
Very few girls have been able to achieve what Pasca has. For the majority of single mothers, the process of reintegration has been difficult. Lara was only 9 when she was abducted by the LRA and given to an army commander who raped her. She gave birth to 2 of his children alone in the bush without any water. She was eventually rescued by Uganda's armed forces after stumbling into an ambush and being seriously injured. While she was recovering in hospital, her father, brothers and aunt were killed in a massacre in her village.
When I returned home, I was stigmatised. Everyone thought that I was responsible for the massacre, but I wasn't. How could I be? I was in hospital. Now they call me names and point fingers at me. They say, "Why do you bring this rebel's children into our home? These children will teach our children to act like rebels." Sometimes I wish I'd never come back.
Being abducted for sometimes, they come out, they are like outcasts to the community.
Dr. Mary Grace Laniero is a psychiatrist working at St. Joseph's Hospital in Kitgum.
Initially, when they come back from the bush, there are no sign of depression, no sign of post-traumatic stress disorders. They have lost all the human feelings. There's no remorseful feeling. But they develop as they go back to the community. They start getting guilt. There's that self-blame. Why did I do this? How do the community look at me? That is where they start breaking down and they get depression.
Rose was abducted 3 times. The first time she was captured with her father, who she was then ordered to kill.
They started beating him. Then they made me beat him with a log until he was dead. Now when I sleep, this spirit comes to me and tries to wrestle with me.
Forcing children to kill their own parents was a conscious strategy by the LRA to normalise murder and to rob a child of any hope of returning home to their family. Dr. Laniero says the psychological impact of this can scar a child for life.
Still, the blame remains. It remains a kind of a serious chronic wound inside a child.
Deputy District Commissioner Sylvester Opira is the government's representative in Kitgum. He admits not enough is being done.
For our unfortunate girls here in the north, the hopes are not very good. We need to drum up more support, even from my government. I need to really make strong recommendations and ask my Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Welfare to do more.
My name is Christopher Arroy. I'm the program manager for the organization Kichwa. In terms of psychological support, we provide counseling and appropriate activities that are quite useful in promoting healing of the mind. While they're here, they get involved in indoor games, dance, music. In our community, traditional dance and music is very refreshing. It is a situation where somebody can express emotion. They sing and also express certain feelings about their future.
They are helping me a lot. They are paying my child in the school. They are giving things like books. And besides, they are even giving us this startup capital for business. So I've gained a lot from Kichwa and I'm very happy about them.
This year, with assistance from their UK partner, International Childcare Trust, Kishwa has paid for 6 girls to take a tailoring course. Today, 3 of those girls are graduating and are about to receive their own sewing machine and a roll of cloth to start their own business.
Today, I have the pleasure to hand over this startup investment to the yet elder. Thank you so much for your endeavors. Have this.
I'm so grateful to receive this sewing machine plus the piece of cloth I've been given. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start making clothes. I sell them, I buy more materials, I keep on selling.
That report from Uganda by Candida Beveridge. And tomorrow on Outlook, Candida reports from a ritual cleansing ceremony designed to help reintegrate a former child soldier into his community.